All right, let's dive into something pretty important today, something that affects millions and millions of people, hypertension, or as most folks know it, high blood pressure.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at a podcast episode, a really fascinating one called The Silent Killer Understanding Hypertension.
Okay.
And this deep dive is all about really giving you, the listener, the knowledge, the power to understand hypertension.
Right.
And take charge of your own health,
Absolutely.
And it's more important than you might think, even if you're feeling great.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that this silent killer, they call it that, this is one of the leading causes of premature death worldwide?
It is. It's a scary statistic.
Yeah.
It really is. And what's so interesting is that so many people are walking around with it and they just don't even know.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's a hidden threat.
Right.
But the good news is, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
When you understand it, you can start taking steps to protect yourself.
Okay, so let's break it down then. What is blood pressure?
Well,
And how does it become a problem?
so imagine your blood vessels as like a network of highways.
Okay.
They're transporting all these vital nutrients and oxygen throughout your body.
Right.
So blood pressure is basically the force of your blood pushing against the walls of those highways, those arteries.
Okay.
And we measure it with two numbers,
Yeah.
systolic over diastolic.
Uh-huh.
Think of it kind of like your heartbeat's rhythm.
Okay.
Systolic is the peak pressure when your heart contracts.
Right.
It pushes the blood out. And then diastolic is the lower pressure
Mhm.
when your heart relaxes between the beats.
So it's like a wave, right?
Exactly.
Crashing on the shore, that's systolic, and then receding back, that's diastolic.
Yeah, a perfect analogy.
I got it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when does this natural force become dangerous?
Well, a normal reading, the one you want to aim for, is around 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury, or mmHg, as you'll sometimes see it written.
Got it.
But when that number consistently goes above 130 over 80, that's when we start talking about hypertension.
Okay.
And here's the thing, a lot of times you don't feel high blood pressure.
All right.
It's why they call it the silent killer. It's like a ninja wreaking havoc,
Right.
and you don't even know it's there.
You don't even know. So what's going on inside our bodies?
Yeah.
What makes this so dangerous then?
Over time, that constant high pressure, it starts to damage the lining of your arteries.
Okay.
Those delicate little highways we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a garden hose with a kink in it.
Okay.
That's what happens to your arteries. They stiffen up.
Wow.
They narrow, they lose their flexibility.
Oh, wow.
And so that restricts blood flow, it puts a strain on your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and that increases the risk of all sorts of serious health issues.
Like what?
Well, we're talking heart attacks,
Wow.
strokes, kidney failure, even vision problems. It's a whole cascade of things.
That paints a pretty vivid and scary picture, I gotta say.
It is.
I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal. But what causes this pressure to spike in the first place?
Yeah.
Is it all bad habits, too much junk food, and not enough exercise? Or is there more to it?
Well, it's definitely not just a simple answer like that.
Okay.
There are some risk factors you just can't control,
Okay.
like your genes,
Right.
your age, even your ethnicity can play a role.
Oh, interesting.
If high blood pressure runs in your family, or if you're part of certain ethnic groups that are more predisposed to it, then you're starting off with maybe a bit of a higher hurdle.
Okay.
And as we age, our blood vessels, they naturally stiffen a bit, just like a garden hose. You leave it out in the sun too long, it gets all brittle.
Right, right.
Same kind of thing happens in our bodies.
So those are things we can't really change.
Exactly.
What about the things we can control?
Right.
Where does lifestyle come into play with all of this?
Now we're talking.
All right.
This is where things get empowering, Our daily choices can make a big difference. One of the biggest culprits is, surprisingly, salt.
Really?
Yeah, you might be shocked to learn that most people are eating way more sodium than their body actually needs.
Hold on. Too much salt is a bad thing.
It can be.
But it makes everything taste so good.
I know, right? It definitely enhances flavor, but too much sodium, it makes your body retain water.
Okay.
Think of it like a sponge. Salt is like a sponge.
Yeah.
It draws water into your bloodstream, and that increases the volume of fluid your heart has to pump. Mm-hmm. And that puts all this extra pressure on your blood vessels.
And those are already stressed as it is.
Exactly. And it's not just the salt shaker we got to watch out for,
Right.
It's processed foods.
Oh, yeah.
They are notorious for hiding tons of sodium.
So salt's a sneaky saboteur then?
It can be.
Okay.
It's not the only dietary villain, though.
No.
While salt's a major player,
Right.
It's really the overall balance of your diet that matters. A diet high in saturated and trans fats, cholesterol, all that stuff. That can contribute to plaque buildup in your arteries, which narrows them even more and makes it even harder for blood to flow.
So what we eat really does matter then.
It really does.
It's like we're building our arteries brick by brick, and those bricks can be strong and resilient,
Yes.
or they can be crumbly and prone to damage.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to avoid those crumbly foods. Got it.
Exactly.
Are there foods that can actually strengthen our arteries?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me more.
We've talked about cutting back on sodium.
Right.
But what about increasing potassium?
Potassium. Okay.
It's like sodium's balancing, buddy.
All right.
It helps regulate those fluid levels.
Yeah.
Eases the pressure on your blood vessels.
So potassium is like the superhero sidekick
I like it.
to sodium's villainous ways.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
You should be.
What's the best way to get more potassium?
Well, the real heroes here,
Okay.
fruits, vegetables, and whole grains.
Oh.
They're all packed with potassium.
Like what kinds of things?
Think leafy greens,
Uh.
bananas, sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, all
Okay.
that good stuff.
All right, so we're ditching the processed foods,
As much as you can.
loading up on those potassium-rich heroes,
Exactly.
keeping an eye on the salt shaker.
Mm.
What else can we do to fight back against hypertension? Ready to put on my metaphorical superhero suit.
I like your enthusiasm.
I'm ready.
Well, besides diet, another weapon we have is exercise.
Okay.
Regular physical activity. It's like magic for your blood vessels.
Oh.
Keeps them flexible, resilient, all that good stuff.
So we're giving our arteries a workout too.
You got it.
Okay. What kind of exercise are we talking here? Does it have to be hardcore gym sessions?
No, no, no.
Or can I just take a walk around the block?
You don't need to be a marathon runner.
Okay.
Think brisk walking, jogging, swimming, cycling, that sort of thing. Aim for at least 30 minutes of, moderate intensity exercise most days a week. Actually, the podcast we're looking at, they talked about a study where people who walked just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week,
Yeah.
saw their blood pressure go down significantly.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah,
Those small efforts really do pay off.
they really do.
So what happens in our bodies when we exercise that makes such a difference?
Well, when you move your body, your heart has to pump faster, right? To deliver all that blood and oxygen to your muscles.
Yeah.
And so that strengthens your heart muscle, makes it more efficient.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to work as hard to pump the blood throughout your body. Exercise also improves your circulation.
Yeah.
Keeps your blood vessels nice and elastic so they can dilate and constrict more easily.
Okay.
And that helps regulate your blood pressure.
So it's like we're training our hearts to be a lean, mean, blood pumping machine.
Exactly.
All right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
We've talked about diet. We've talked about exercise. What about things like sleep and stress?
Oh.
All that good stuff. Do they really make a difference for blood pressure?
Oh, they absolutely do.
Okay.
Think of your body like a finely tuned instrument.
Okay.
When you're sleep deprived or you're chronically stressed,
Yeah.
it throws everything off.
Right.
When you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more of the stress hormone cortisol,
Yeah.
which can contribute to high blood pressure.
So skimping on sleep is like adding fuel to the fire then.
Pretty much.
I'll try to get my 8 hours, no problem.
There you go.
What's the magic number for sleep?
Well, most adults need around 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep per night.
Okay.
And it's not just about how much you sleep, but the quality of that sleep too.
Right.
Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, cool.
Yeah.
Have a nice little relaxing bedtime routine.
Yeah.
Maybe read a book, take a warm bath, listen to some calming music.
Sounds like a recipe for a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
All right. So speaking of winding down, let's talk about stress.
Okay.
We all know stress is bad for us.
Right.
But how does it actually impact blood pressure?
Well, when you're stressed, your body goes into that fight or flight mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your heart rate goes up,
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure increases, you start breathing faster,
Yeah.
muscles tense up.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Right. And it's helpful if you're actually facing a threat.
Right. Like a saber-toothed tiger.
Exactly. But these days, stress is more like a constant companion, right?
Yeah.
And that chronic state of high alert,
Right.
that can really take a toll on your heart.
So our bodies are stuck in overdrive even when there's no danger.
It's like that, yeah.
That's got to be exhausting.
Getting her hands dirty and nurturing her plants,
Yeah.
she said it helped her feel grounded and more connected to, something larger than herself.
I love that. It's about finding things that bring you joy and help you decompress.
Exact.
Sometimes it's the simple things.
It really is.
But let's face it, sometimes life is just stressful,
It is.
no matter how much yoga you do.
Right.
What about when those lifestyle changes aren't enough? Is medication ever part of the solution for managing hypertension?
Absolutely. Medications can be really important,
Okay.
especially for people with more severe hypertension.
Right.
They work in different ways, but they basically help relax your blood vessels,
Okay.
reduce the workload on your heart, which helps lower blood pressure and reduce the risk of those complications we talked about.
So it's like giving your heart a helping hand.
Exactly.
Are all blood pressure medications the same?
Not exactly.
Yep.
There are different types.
Yeah.
Each one works a little differently. Some common ones are diuretics.
Okay.
Those help your body get rid of extra salt and water.
Okay.
So it lowers your blood volume and pressure.
Got it.
Then you have beta blockers.
Yeah.
Those slow down your heart rate and reduce the force of your heart's contractions.
Okay.
And then there are ACE inhibitors, which block a hormone that constricts blood vessels.
Right.
And calcium channel blockers, they relax blood vessels by preventing calcium from entering their muscle cells.
Wow. Okay.
There are a lot of different options.
It sounds like finding the right medication or combination of medications
Right.
is like putting together a puzzle.
It kind of is.
So it's really important to talk to your doctor, figure out what's best for you.
Absolutely. You've got to work closely with your healthcare provider to figure out the best approach for your individual needs.
Right.
They'll look at your medical history, your lifestyle,
Yeah.
any other medications you're taking
Right.
to find the safest and most effective treatment plan.
Medications is just one piece of the puzzle, though, right?
It's not a replacement for those healthy habits we've been talking about.
Definitely not.
It's got to be both.
Exactly. It's all about creating a holistic approach to managing your health.
Yeah.
Medication can help lower your blood pressure, but it's really the combination of medication and healthy habits, diet, exercise, stress management, all that good stuff,
Right.
that really gives you the power to take control of your well-being.
So it's a tag team effort then.
It is.
Medication on lifestyle working together.
Exactly.
Keeping that blood pressure in check.
You got it.
But let's be real, making lasting lifestyle changes is hard.
It can be.
You know, it's easy to get discouraged. What advice would you give to listeners who might be struggling to stay motivated?
First and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Yeah?
It's a journey. It's not a destination.
Right.
There are going to be bumps in the road.
Right.
Don't beat yourself up if you have a day where you eat a little too much salt
Yeah.
or skip a workout.
It happens.
It does. It happens to all of us. Just acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track.
Okay.
And remember, you don't have to do this alone.
Right.
There are people who can help. Talk to your doctor, connect with a registered dietitian, maybe find a support group,
Yeah.
where you can share your experiences and learn from others.
Those are all great tips.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that support and community, they make all the difference when you're trying to make these big changes.
Absolutely. And sometimes the most inspiring stories come from people who've been there.
Yeah.
People who have faced similar challenges. That podcast we were talking about, they had this story that really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
It was about this guy named John. He was diagnosed with hypertension in his early 50s.
Okay.
He was overweight, super stressed from work, and had a family history of heart disease.
Oh, wow.
He knew he needed to make changes, but it just felt overwhelming,
Yeah, it's easy to feel stuck when you're facing something like that.
It is.
So what happened with John? What was his turning point?
Well, at first, his doctor put him on medication,
Okay.
which helped to bring his blood pressure down.
Right.
But he realized medication alone wasn't enough. He needed to change his lifestyle, too.
Okay.
He started small, joined a walking group with some coworkers.
Oh, geez.
It was a way to, socialize and get some exercise at the same time.
2 birds, 1 stone?
Exactly. Then he started trying out some healthier recipes,
Oh.
swapping out all that processed food for fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
He found that he actually enjoyed cooking, trying new things.
He turned what could have been a chore into something fun.
Exactly.
Like that.
And the results were pretty amazing.
Really?
Within a few months, he lost weight, his blood pressure stabilized, and he had more energy.
Wow.
He felt better than he had in years.
That's incredible.
It really is. And his doctor was so impressed that he actually lowered his medication dosage.
Wow. That's a great example of how powerful lifestyle changes can be.
It really is.
It's not just popping a pill. It's about taking control of your health.
Exactly. And John's story, it shows that it's never too late to make positive changes. No matter your age, you have the power to improve your health.
Such an important message.
It is.
It's easy to dwell on the past,
Oh, yeah.
but what matters is what you do now.
Absolutely.
But change can be tough.
It can be.
What advice would you give to our listeners who are just starting out on this journey?
Start small. Be patient.
Okay.
You don't have to overhaul your whole life overnight.
Right.
Pick 1 or 2 achievable goals. Maybe it's cutting back on sugary drinks, adding more veggies to your plate, finding 15 minutes to walk or stretch each day.
Yeah.
Celebrate those little victories along the way.
I like that.
They add up.
It's about those little steps, building those healthy habits.
Exactly. And be kind to yourself.
Yes. Self-compassion is so important.
It really is. There will be days you slip up.
Oh, yeah.
You might have a salty snack. You might skip a workout. It happens.
It happens to all of us.
It does. It does. Just acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track.
Don't let it derail you.
Exactly.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
There you go. A marathon.
What resources are out there for people who want some support, connect with others?
Oh, there are tons of resources.
Okay.
Talk to your doctor. Connect with a registered dietitian. Look for a local support group.
Yeah.
There are even online communities where you can connect with people going through the same thing.
Yeah, you don't have to do this alone.
Definitely not.
Well, we've covered a lot today.
We have.
We talked about the science behind blood pressure and some real strategies to manage it. We really dug into hypertension.
We did.
What's the biggest takeaway for you?
I think it's that knowledge is power.
Yeah.
When you understand the risks, the causes, the solutions, then you can take control of your health.
So true. It's not about being scared of the silent killer.
Right.
It's about making smart choices. Choices that support your well-being. A lifestyle that nourishes your body and mind.
It's about remembering that you can make a difference.
Yes.
No matter where you are on your journey.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
As we wrap up our deep dive, we'll leave you with this thought. What's one small step you can take today to move towards a healthier you?
Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's cooking a healthy meal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just taking a few deep breaths to calm your mind.
Whatever it is, every step counts.
It really does.
Your health is precious. Take care of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into hypertension.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned something,
I hope so.
that you feel empowered and inspired.
Definitely.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.
See you next time.